your downtime as your bonus time to learn and maybe do some marketing.
Wow, this is cool. I
Yeah.
like OStatic.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about the site because it's weird shades of blue, but I did share that link with two people at work and they were both pretty happy about it.
Nice.
Yeah. This last one I just threw in, Steve. I'm kind of sorry.
That's
But I had
okay. This is something I figure you would enjoy talking about.
not really, honestly. No.
No?
No, because everybody under the sun has stolen from each other ideas and concepts since the beginning of time. It's just the way it is. I mean, when I'm, hypothetically back in the 1600s and I'm walking through a new town and I see, hey, they're doing something a new way, I'll go back to my town and say, hey, look what I can do. That's just the way it is.
Yes.
It's always been like that with everything. Now we have examples, and I've seen these for months, and this to me seemed to be like the most straight arrowed one, I'll say.
Okay.
8 features from Windows 8 borrowed from Linux. They started the article outright with my eyes by not lying and saying stole.
Huh.
Okay. The file copy dialog for years has completely sucked in Windows. The guesstimation of the time left has been putrid. Okay. It will go up to like 80% and then sit there for 5 minutes. For
And what are we talking about? What app?
No, this is an app. This is the file copy dialog. When you hit copy and then paste.
That little box that comes up. I got you.
Yes, with the little bar going across and you have no idea what it's doing.
Right.
It just went across. Well, they've definitely changed it to look more like, at least what I see, in GNOME, XFCE, and I believe KDE also, where if I copy and paste multiple things at the same time, I will see actual activity and rate of activity for each of those copying processes.
This sounds amazing.
Dude, people who first see this in Windows 8 are going to think this is gold because it is. It's great. I love it.
Amazing. That's really neat looking. I like this too.
I love it. And I say the one reason they could not have it in Windows 7 because it would have really made a lot of people mad, because if you copy a 10 gig block in Windows 7...
Dora, I'm losing you. Hang on a sec. Do me a favor, just kill your video.
Yes, sir. Stopped.
Check 1 2.
Test, check.
I'll call you back on Skype, all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Test, check.
Okay, and your heat didn't go on or anything, right? No, it's okay.
on.
Weird. Okay, just give me like a check 1 2 3 a couple times just so Skype adjusts to you.
Yeah, you just came in a whole lot clearer. It took like 4 or 5 seconds, and then I could hear it getting better.
Oh, good. All right, now you try.
Testing, 1 2 1 2. I like my 2 free gifts I'm getting from Mr. Beer.
Okay, again.
Fortunately, it's going to take like 6 to 8 weeks, but you'll have that. And I'm just talking a little bit more while I look at my Barks root beer because it has bite.
I don't know why it's coming through fuzzy. All right, let's just go with it. It'll correct itself. Ready? Whenever you're ready, go.
Back in Windows 7, if you were to copy a 10 gig block that consisted of like 5 2 gigabyte files, it would go at, let's say, X speed. But if you took that same 10 gigabyte block and you copied, 10,000 small files, it would literally take like 4 times longer. And if you would have seen that in these kind of graphs in Windows 7, you'd have been really mad.
Huh.
Okay, the next feature, Lalo and Matt, coincidentally, on the last Podnutz Pro, mentioned how they love this one app because it could mount ISO files and make it look to the operating system like, hey, there's a real CD here. Dude, this has been on Linux now for 8 years or so.
Okay.
The ability to mount an ISO like a CD drive.
I see.
That's finally coming to Windows 8.
Wow.
To be honest, there's no reason they shouldn't have had it in Windows 7 and probably Vista. There's no reason. The most obvious ripoff from Linux is Windows to Go, which I don't see how on God's green earth they're going to get this to run good. But supposedly you can take a USB hard drive, probably not a thumb drive, plug it up to your Windows 8 computer, and install a quote-unquote portable version onto that hard drive, take it to other computers, plug it up, and boot to it.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really... For that, if they actually do it right where it boots on most computers, I'll be pleasantly shocked. The last couple features, the Metro UI, they're going to say, well, we got it from Zune a couple years ago. No, okay, that kind of interface has been around for at least 6 years, and it was in a GNOME like testing branch there for a little while years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Social integration. Any user of Ubuntu since 9.04 knew about the Me menu, where right in the OS you could tweet, get IMs, and interact socially. They're bringing that in there.
Huh.
It'll probably suck. Everybody would use third-party ones. Native support for USB 3.0. That's a cheap shot. I'd say that's a cheap shot. Cloud integration. You thought we had it bad with, those bad commercials to the cloud for Windows 7.
Right.
You ain't seen nothing yet. It's going to get a lot worse. And it looks like they're going to offer backup service as well to some degree. I don't know how good that's going to work because it's Microsoft SkyDrive. If a hacker's going to want to hack something, I think he's going to want to hack SkyDrive.
Sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it does look like, in this part I'm not really positive about, they're finally, after 16 years, no, 14 years, going to change their file system.
Wow.
Dude, Scott is going to be mad.
Why?
Well, because he knows NTFS in and out. You know what I mean? If anyone can take anything that's completely foobarred and put it back together, it's Scott, because he knows so well what NTFS acts, how it does, why it does, everything. If they redo the file system, he's going to have to learn all over.
Yeah, he had enough time with it.
Right. And I'll say, people who've had a hard look at this file system say it's remarkably similar to ZFS and ButterFS.
And it's called ReFS is the name of it?
It's called, ReFS, which, I don't think they do. I'm sure the bootloader's still going to get infected quickly.
Resilient file system. Interesting.
Yeah. Which I believe it means you're going to have the ability, it's going to probably do on its own. If there's so many unsuccessful boots in a row, it's going to automatically roll back.
I got you.
Which is smart. Unless, of course, the bootloader's affected. I digress. I just wanted to just throw them out there. I don't necessarily agree with all of them.
Yeah.
Because these are ideas, these are concepts, these are supposed to be borrowed. If they make sense, they should use them.
Right.
So.
I agree. But it's good you brought it up. Just raise some awareness. Give Linux some props.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there just to make sure those Windows people know when Windows 8 comes out, virtually nothing in it will be truly new or unique.
We know that already.
Don't get me wrong. You Windows guys are going to love them.
All right, want to do some emails? We got a bunch of them. I actually have so many because I finally sorted them all out, and we have some from last month. So if you send us an email from last month, I'm reading them now, finally. Sorry about that.
Well, yeah, that's because we were stuck on the pie.
Yeah, there's still some more pies coming in. It's crazy. Yeah. But here you go. Carlos says, hello, guys. I've been listening to your show for some time now. Great work. I would like to talk a little bit about auto start items in Linux, how to disable them, etc. I'm using Ubuntu at home and Mint LXDE on my netbook. I find that the utility Bum, Boot Up Manager, Bum, does the trick nicely. Of course, you can edit and auto start file and delete or comment out the lines you don't need, but this package has a nice GUI, so I thought it would be a good tip for newbies like me out there. Cheers, guys. I was working in the P.S. I was working in the Arctic Circle last June and had your podcast at my workstation while I was taking samples some 300 feet away. Your podcast was at full blast, so I could listen to the show, and let me tell you that in the little island, you had thousands of listeners. Just one of them human, though. Did we read this before?
I think we referenced it, but now in hindsight, I'm not sure if we actually read it.
I don't know if we read it on the show. Well, first off, that's a cool app, Bum. Have you ever used that?
Yes, and I got to say, the one thing I love about that app is you can set up startup and shutdown priority, which if there's an app that you like to have started, but you're not insistent it starts, you give it a very low priority, which means it could take like a minute to a minute and a half after you log in for it to actually start up.
Oh, it just optimizes for speed?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Neat. And as far as the Arctic Circle, me and Dora, I know I sent this to him. We've got a kick out of that. I love that. Linux for the rest of us blasting in the Arctic Circle with no one around. Just into the air. It's amazing.
Hell yeah. I'll just say if I would win the lotto or something, I would love to go up there and just say hi.
Totally.
That'd be cool.
Santa Claus probably heard us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you for that email. There's another one from Carlos. Not sure if it's the same one. Hello, guys. I wanted to know if you can recommend a solution to carry a portable Linux distro or any other OS. I'm about to try and put some variant of Linux on my 5th gen iPod since it rarely gets used anymore and I seem to carry it with me all the time. Because this is a 60 gigabyte hard drive, I thought I could use it to have a bootable Linux distro so that I can then use it when I'm repairing someone else's computer, when I want to use my own system while using a public computer, or just to take it around with me and have all my files at my disposal. You guys mentioned something a few episodes ago, or more than a few, about a Linux distro that even had an antivirus scanner and had all the tools to diagnose and potentially repair an infected Windows machine. Maybe this is what Podnutz was all about. I don't know. I'm just asking, is this even doable, or are you going to bring me down from my Linux cloud? Keep up the hard work, guys, and please tell me when is Linux for the rest of us recorded so I can watch it live. I've been listening since August 2010, and I've yet to watch a live performance of the great duo of the one and only door-to-door geek, Steve McLaughlin, and the incomparable host extraordinaire, Steve Cherubino. P.S. I originally wanted to do a Linux inside my iPod type of thing because although I have a backup of my important files and media on the cloud, this particular occasion when I absolutely needed my files, there was a blackout that lasted for 4 hours and not even 3G was available. Ooh. Carlos. All right, well, let's start with his question about you having a bootable Linux distro that you could use in his iPod.
It kind of harkens back to what we were talking earlier about. We had a pocket device that we put up into a computer and we have a full operating system.
Right.
I was instinctively hard going towards Puppy.
Okay.
Just because it loads so quick. And if he has 80 gigs, it's going to take up 200 meg.
Wow.
It's smaller than that, actually. But if he wants to use it for diagnostics on a Windows computer, I would honestly suggest Ubuntu or Knoppix or something like that. You can load a couple different AVs on virtually any Linux. The big one, the popular one, is Clam AV, which I said this in the TeamSpeak this week. Yes, there are better AVs and worse AVs, but the bottom line is they all completely suck. What? None of them do good. At most, they can catch like 80% of the stuff out there that's been created in the last 30 days.
Okay, that's not bad.
Well, it ain't great. They have good stuff, but not great. And I'll say a lot of the tools like Test Disk, Photo Rec, Clonezilla kind of thing, you can load on any operating system, whether it be Mint, Debian,